Hello, I'm Molly, a licensed insolvency practitioner at Parker Walsh, and I'm going to be discussing in this video the process of a liquidation. So there are three types of liquidation. You have the creditor's voluntary liquidation. That's an insolvent liquidation where you can't afford to pay all the creditors when they fall due. Then you have a members voluntary liquidation, and that's a solvent liquidation. That's when you can pay everyone and there's going to be a distribution to the shareholders. Then finally there's a compulsory liquidation, and that is following a petition to wind the company up, and there's a hearing at the courts, and it's a compulsory liquidation and it forces the company into liquidation. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to look at creditors' voluntary liquidation. So the first step would be for the director to be aware that the company is not doing as well as hoped, or maybe you've had a meeting with the accountant and they've expressed some concerns over the finances and you're worried that you're not being able to pay everyone as and when they fall due. So the next stage would be to get in touch with someone like myself, a licensed insolvency practitioner, and we can act as a sounding board. So when people call me or we have a meeting, we run through the company's position, see if there's a way out so that the company can return to profitability, because sometimes these things are just a temporary glitch and it can be easily resolved, and that's always our goal. But if not, and it has to go into liquidation, then we carry out our anti-money laundering checks, and that's a really simple, quick process. Just checking that the directors and shareholders are who they say they are, essentially, and checking out the background of the company. And then once we've done that, we would issue our engagement letter, which would formally instruct us in assisting the directors in placing the company into liquidation. We provide the notices and liquidation report to the creditors, and then eventually a meeting is held and that places it into liquidation. Then the liquidator, and that would be someone like myself, our job is to realise the company's assets, whether that's cash at bank, book debts, tangible assets such as plant and machinery, cars, etc. Whatever the assets are, we would sell them or realise them into the liquidation estate, and then that pot of money, if applicable, the company might not have any assets, is then distributed amongst its creditors, and there is a process as to who gets paid first. So essentially we would need to look at liquidation fees and expenses, whether there's any secure creditors such as fixed and floating charge holders, whether there's HMRC as a secondary preferential creditor, whether there's any employees as a first preferential creditor, and then unfortunately at the end are the trade creditors. And that is the sort of what the liquidator's role is to realise the assets and then distribute the funds accordingly. And then once all the matters are resolved, everything's been closed down, everything's been dealt with, the liquidation will come to a close. So that's the process in a nutshell. If you want any more information about it, please get in touch with the office. We have written guides and we also have some infographics which also shows the process in a bit more detail from the initial call to getting it into liquidation. We've got an infographic for that and some more information, and then once it's in liquidation, what we do. So if you want any more information, please get in touch. Thank you.